In DC Forever, rogues are running amok, setting schemes into motion that only the heroes of the DC universe can stop. Using the game's asymmetric deck building mechanic, players recruit reinforcements from a pool of 18 popular DC characters and develop their decks to further their strategy. Heroes win if they capture all the active rogues in play or rescue 30 citizens. Rogues win if they knock out all the active heroes or complete 5 schemes. So let's dive right in to learn how to play DC Forever. First, decide who will play as the heroes and who will be the rogues. The rulebook explains how to set up each game, but we'll start with the suggested setup for your first two-player game. Rogue players, look for the 6 starting cards for your first character and the 6 starting cards for your second. Combine them into a starting deck of 12 cards. Hero players, look for the 4 starting cards for your first character and the 4 starting cards for your second. To these 8 cards, add 1 Fame, 1 Prestige, and 2 Renown cards to form your starting deck of 12 cards. Both players should take the rest of the cards for their 2 starting characters and all the cards for their remaining 2 characters yet to be recruited. Put them into separate stacks. This will form your reserve. Next, each player draws a starting hand of 6 cards. The most important thing to know is that the game is played in a series of rounds, each of which is divided into stages, usually alternating between the rogue player and the hero player. Stage 1, the rogues plotting stage. This is where the rogue player will be able to recruit other rogues, play cards, or buy reserve cards in any order. Each rogue card has 1 or more skull symbols on the left. This is the rogue currency called infamy. To recruit a rogue, discard cards and add the number of infamy symbols until you have the amount needed to pay the cost of the character card. Bring that character directly into play. If you have any infamy left over, you can use it to buy cards for any characters in play. Note that your newly recruited characters will likely have 0 cost cards along with the higher cost cards. Keep discarding cards from your hand until you have enough infamy to buy your desired cards. Cards bought this way are added to your discard pile. Finally, if you have any cards in hand that weren't used to pay infamy, you can play cards during this plotting stage. The card types are events, attachments, minions, and schemes. Minions are played to the table and remain until a game effect removes them. Attachments simply get tucked under the rogue card, granting an additional effect. Note that modifier effects can't be resolved until a later stage called the confrontation, but must be attached during the plotting stage for their effects to be used later. Events can be played when the timing permits. Reaction events will specifically state a condition that makes the card playable. Modifier events that are not attachments must be played during the later confrontation stage. If the event card doesn't have a specific timing instance, it can be played during the plotting or confrontation stage. Schemes are very important as they can provide a path to victory. Cards labeled schemes are placed face down at a location in the plotting stage. You will then work on attempting to complete schemes in the confrontation stage. More on that later. Once you as the rogue player are done, either because you have nothing more you can do or because you want to hold off on doing more, you will signal the end of the plotting stage by drawing 3 cards. If you end up having more than 10, discard down to the maximum hand of 10 cards. Stage 2 is the hero's planning stage. Similar to the plotting stage, the hero player will be able to recruit, play cards, or buy reserve cards in any order. As a hero player, you'll find many of your cards will be played out in the open as attachments or assets. Assets will be played to the table and remain until a game effect removes them. Attachments are tucked under the hero card in such a way that the ability text and traits on the card are still visible. Typically, the effects granted by the abilities will take effect in the confrontation stage. Similar to the rogue's events, the hero's events can be played when the timing permits. Reaction events will specifically state a condition that makes the card playable. Modifier events that are not attachments must be played during the later confrontation stage. If the event card doesn't have a specific timing instance, it can be played during the planning or confrontation stage. The hero player does not have schemes to play, but does have an extra option when playing cards, and that is to empower hero cards. The way Empower works is that you will take a card or cards from your hand and tuck it or them under the left side of your hero card with only the renown symbol showing. Later, when a game effect requires a renown cost, as most limited abilities do, simply discard an empowered card that has a renown value equal to or greater than the cost amount. Multiple Empower cards can be discarded this way to meet the requirements. For example, Batman's Master Martial Artist limited ability has a renown cost of 2. If he's being empowered by a card that has a renown value of 3, he can discard it to activate the limited ability, though the remaining renown is lost. If he is being empowered by 2 cards that have a renown value of 1, he can discard both to activate the limited ability. The only other way for a hero to activate the limited ability is to discard attachments that have the necessary renown value. Doing so does not activate any abilities on the attachment cards that are normally activated by discarding. Rogues also have limited abilities that have an infamy cost. However, that infamy cost can only be paid for by discarding cards from the rogue player's hand. So don't forget this important bit of asymmetry. Lastly, the hero player can recruit and buy cards just like rogues. When the hero player is done, either by choice or by running out of cards, the hero's planning stage ends. The hero player doesn't draw cards here. Unlike the rogue players, if the hero player used up all the cards in the planning stage, they will go into the confrontation stage with an empty hand. Stage 3, the confrontation stage. First, look for any game effects that are triggered at the start of the confrontation stage. The unaligned Harley Quinn, for example, says she claims at the start of the confrontation stage. You would decrease the amount of citizens at her location by 1 and add 1 citizen to Harley's card. The confrontation stage is where the choices made during the plotting and planning stages have the most direct impact. The confrontation will feature alternating turns between the rogue and the hero players in what are known as the rogue provoke phase and the hero oppose phase. In the first round of the game, neither the rogue nor hero player can pass, but in future rounds, each can pass as desired, giving the opponent the chance to either pass or act. If either the rogue or the hero player passes after the other player has just passed, the confrontation stage ends. Otherwise, on their turn, players will activate one of their active characters by first rotating their character cards 90 degrees, known as exhausting their character, then moving the corresponding character standee to one of the 3 available locations. So what can a rogue do? One option is to play event cards that are not part of an attack or a threat. For example, if Cheetah is activated, she could use Scent the Prey. If Joker is activated, he could use Acid Flower. Another option is to threaten at a location with a face-down card. Most of these face-down cards are schemes, but a few might be attachments that deceive your opponent into thinking they are schemes. In either case, move from that location to the face-down card the number of citizens equal to the rogue's threaten value, plus any modifiers coming from an event played at this time, or attachments played during the plotting stage. For example, Joker's One Bad Day is an event that adds a threaten modifier when played. Don't forget to pay attention to the text on the location. Some grant bonuses to rogues when they threaten, or make rogues more vulnerable to a hero attack. If the final citizen is taken from a location, do not remove the card yet. A new card will be drawn in the resolution phase, which comes after the hero oppose phase. A final option for the rogue is to attack. If there is a hero at a location, the rogue can inflict the amount of damage equal to the attack value plus any events played at this time or attachments played during the plotting stage. Keep in mind that some characters have ways of reducing damage. For example, Superman has a constant ability that reduces up to 5 damage down to 1 unless damage comes from a magic source. Noticing that Cheetah has the magic trait, it seems her attacks stand to be the most effective against him, so the rogue player might hold her back until Superman has been activated. If a hero is defeated, its character card is placed in the master plan, but its cards remain in the hero deck, so discard any attachments or empower cards that the hero had in play. If no hero has been activated yet and you're itching for a fight, you as the rogue player can also attack the underlying character at your location. If you do enough damage to reduce their health to 0, you have not defeated them. Instead, you have swayed them. Remove all damage from that character and keep them at the location, but move them to the side closest to the rogue player, and then reveal a new unaligned character and place it at the location of your choice that does not already have an unaligned character. While a scheme is present at the swayed character's location, that character's abilities related to claiming citizens are now used exclusively towards the advancement of that scheme instead of being placed on their card. If no scheme is present, they claim citizens for themselves as normal. Any abilities on swayed characters ignore rogues and rogue players. Next, hero players will activate one of their available heroes. The hero player's choices mirror the rogues to some extent. One option is to play event cards that are not part of an attack or a threat. For example, if Wonder Woman is activated, she could use Gifts of Demeter, or she could use Gifts of Athena, or even both. And if she has sufficient renown on an Empower card or an attachment, she could activate Gift from the Gods if she hasn't already activated it this round. Don't forget to place an activation token to indicate that the limited ability has been used. A hero can also attack a rogue or unaligned character at his or her location. The hero can inflict the amount of damage equal to the attack value, plus any events played at this time, or attachments played during the planning stage. Keep in mind that some characters have ways of reducing damage or even hitting back. For example, the Joker's constant ability allows him to sacrifice a citizen at his location and discard a card to ignore all the damage. Cheetah is able to do 2 damage to her attacker using her event card. If a rogue is defeated, it is removed from the game unless brought back through game effects. However, defeated rogue characters leave their cards in the rogue deck. Discard any attachments at this time. If you choose to target an unaligned character instead, defeating it allows you to take any of his or her claimed citizens and place them in your sanctuary. In addition, you might want to defeat some unaligned characters because they might have abilities or threshold abilities that make it more difficult for you to achieve your goals. For example, Harley Quinn will keep claiming citizens from her location at the start of each confrontation, while Black Adam will even inflict damage to characters that threaten or rescue at his location, and will even attack eventually if allowed to claim 3 or more citizens. If the unaligned character is defeated, remove it from the game, then reveal a new unaligned character and place it at the location of your choice without an unaligned character. If the unaligned character had not been swayed to the rogue side, any civilians claimed by that unaligned character are moved to Sanctuary, otherwise those citizens are returned to the supply. Another option is to rescue. This can only be done at a location that is under threat. So Wonder Woman could be sent to a location with a scheme or an unaligned character to perform a rescue action. When a hero rescues, move from that location a number of citizens equal to that hero's rescue value, plus any modifiers from events just played or attachments. Again, don't forget to look at location effects that might trigger when a hero attacks or rescues. When the hero opposed phase ends, the resolution phase first allows the rogue to complete schemes that have enough citizens on them. If they choose, rogue players can reveal the scheme card, draw the number of cards indicated, and resolve the effect, if any. Some will have an immediate effect that is resolved once, while others will have effects that are ongoing in nature. Now, check for win conditions. The first condition is to complete 5 schemes. If this has happened, the rogues win. Next is 30 or more citizens in the sanctuary. If this has happened before the rogue player completes 5 schemes, the heroes win. Next is victory by KO. If all heroes in play have been knocked out by the rogues win. And then finally, victory by capture. If all rogues in play have been captured, the heroes win. If none of the victory conditions have been met, the game continues, so prepare for the next confrontation by removing locations with 0 citizens and drawing a new location card to replace it. Place the listed number of citizens on the new location. Start a new rogue provoke phase followed by hero oppose phase and resolution phase until either all characters have been activated or 2 consecutive turns have been passed. At that point, proceed to the maintenance stage. In the maintenance stage, ready all exhausted characters. All cards are considered to ready simultaneously. Return all character standees at locations to their controller's play area, and resolve any effects that trigger on a card readying. And finally, the rogues will draw 3 cards, remembering to discard down to 10 if necessary, while the heroes will draw back up to their hand limit of 6. Don't forget that some abilities like Wonder Woman's constant ability increase the hand limit, so adjust accordingly. Now you're ready to start this new rogue plotting stage. Repeat this game loop until one side has met one of the victory conditions. If you have any questions, ask them in the comments. I'll make sure to follow up. And if you're having trouble finding a friend to play against, reach out to me for an online game. Thanks for watching.